Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamu alaikum. I hope that you all are doing well at your homes. This is week 2, day 1 of class 9th, and today we are going to study about center of gravity and couple. So let us talk about center of gravity first. As we know that a body is composed of large number of particles and every particle has its own certain weight. Let's say that this is a body. It is made up of large number of particles and the weight of every particle is acting downward due to Earth's gravitational pull, or we can say the force of gravity. So the Earth attracts every particle towards its center by a force known as force of gravity, which is acting on particles, or the weight of the particle. So it means if I am considering a single particle, it will also have a certain weight. So the resultant of all these forces or all these weight is a single force which is equal to the weight of the body. The point where the whole weight of the body appears to act vertically downward, it is known as the center of gravity of the body. How do we know that this point is the center of gravity? It could be this point, or any point. But how do we say that it must be this point? Let's say we consider a point here and call it as A. Now if I draw an axis, you can clearly see that there are more number of particles on the left hand side than on the right hand side. If there are more number of particles on the left hand side, then it means that the large number of forces are also acting here, or the large number of particles, because of the large number of particles, these particles will also have weight. So this means that these forces or these weight will also produce a moment or a torque in it. As left hand side have large number of forces than the right hand side, so we can say that the clockwise movement is not equal to the anti-clockwise movement. So the body is not balanced. Center of gravity is basically that point where the body is balanced. So if we say the point is here and we draw an axis at this point, we can clearly see that the left hand side particles will be equal to the right hand side particles. So the clockwise movement will also be equal to the anti-clockwise movement and the body will be balanced. So the center of gravity is a point where the whole weight of the body appears to act vertically downward. This is the point where the whole weight of the body appears to act vertically downward. Now we can also find the center of gravity of some symmetrical objects. Symmetrical objects are those objects that have a specific shape. Like we say that a rod, a triangle, a circle, a rectangle, a cylinder. These all are symmetrical objects. So for example, the center of gravity of this rod lies at a point where it is balanced. If the rod is balanced, it means that the anti-clockwise moment is equal to the clockwise moment. So let's say this balance point is its middle point. This is the middle point where the rod is balanced. So this will be the center of gravity of the rod. Now let us study about the center of gravity of other symmetrical objects like a circle, triangle, sphere, or cylinder or circular disc. Firstly, for a solid sphere or a hollow sphere, the center of gravity of a solid sphere or a hollow sphere is its center of the sphere. Then what about the rectangle? For a rectangle, it is a point of intersection of the diagonals. These are the diagonals. And the point where these diagonals intersect or meet, this will be the center of gravity. There are further shapes like a circular ring. For the circular ring, it is the middle point of the center of the ring. Then what about the solid or hollow cylinder? For a solid or hollow cylinder, it is the middle point of the axis. This is the middle point and this is the axis. So for a solid or hollow cylinder, it is the middle point on its axis. Now what about the triangle? How can we find out the center of gravity of a triangle? To find out the center of gravity of a triangle, we have to draw a line from every corner to the opposite line's midpoint. Is it clear? Do you get my point? For the triangle, we have to draw a line from the corner, from every corner, from this corner, and from this corner, to the opposite line's midpoint. This line is also called as median. So, for triangle, it is the intersection point of the medians. Now the question is, we have talked about the symmetrical objects center of gravity. Then what about the irregular shaped object or irregular shaped thin lamina? We can also find the center of gravity of irregular shaped object by the use of plumb line. What is plumb line? A plumb line consists of a metallic bob or a metal ball which is made up of lead or brass. It is supported by a string. Firstly, let's take a cardboard and make 3 holes at the edge. First one, second one, and the third one. Now put a strong pin or nail through one of the small hole and fix a clamp so that the cardboard can swing freely. Now attach a plumb line to the pin. When the cardboard and the plumb line have both stopped swinging, mark a cross on the cardboard exactly behind the plumb line and near the opposite edge to the hole. This is the opposite edge to the hole. Now repeat this procedure in all the holes. After that, remove the cardboard from the pin and draw straight lines with the ruler from each hole. Here, you can see the straight lines from each hole to the opposite cross. The point where the 3 lines intersects is the center of gravity of the cardboard or that irregular object. So we can also find out the center of gravity of symmetrical objects as well as irregular shaped objects. Next topic is couple. Now consider a picture on a screen. Over here you can find that a person is driving a car or a person is pedaling a bicycle. Let's say that you are performing these activities. Now to do these activities, you have to apply a certain amount of force. Now how many forces are you applying? What do you think? How many forces are you applying? 1 and 2. Same with this case, 1 and 2. To understand these things, let us analyze this picture. We have 2 situations, situation A and situation B. In this, there are 2 persons. Both are applying the forces in the opposite direction. It is applying the force in this direction and it is applying the force in this direction. When both the persons are applying the forces in the opposite direction, you can see that this table will not move. It will be balanced. Now we change the situation B. In this situation, here we also have 2 same persons and they are also applying the forces in the opposite direction. Now the body will rotate. Why is it so? Can you find out the reason? Yes, in situation A, they both are applying the force along the same line. Or we can say that the line of action of force is same. But here, this is the line of action of force, and for this person, this is the line of action of force. So, in situation A, the line of action of force was same, but in situation B, the line of action of these forces is not same. So if the line of action of force is same, then the body will not rotate or it will not move. But if there are opposite forces or unlike forces and they are acting along the opposite direction but not along the same line, then they will produce a turning effect or a couple in a body. Now, a couple is performed by two unlike parallel forces. Unlike parallel forces, it means these forces are parallel to each other but they have opposite direction. So, a couple is formed by two unlike parallel forces having the same magnitude but not along the same line. Then they will produce a rotation or a couple in the body. A couple is a pair of forces. This is the first one and this is the second one. So a couple is a pair of forces having the same magnitude but opposite direction and have different line of action. You can say for this force this is the line of action of force, and for this force this is the line of action of force. So you can see in both cases the line of action of force is different and they are separated by a perpendicular distance which is denoted by D. Let's see an example. Let's say that this is an example of a double arm spanner which is used to open a nut. Equal force or forces each of magnitude F are applied on each ends of the spanner, on end A as well as the end B, in opposite direction. These forces form a couple that turns the spanner about point O. The torque produced by both forces of couple have the same direction. The direction of this force is anti-clockwise, and you can also see that the direction of this force is also anti-clockwise. Now, as we know that the formula of torque is equals to force multiplied by moment arm. For this at point A, the force is F and the moment arm about the pivot or the center is OA. For at point B, the force acting on a body is F, whereas the moment arm from the center is OB. So the moment of the force F at point A or at end A is equals to F multiplied by OA, whereas the moment of force F at the end B is equals to F, which is the force, multiplied by OB, which is the moment arm. What will be the total moment? The total moment will be by adding these two equations. It will be F multiplied by OA plus F multiplied by OB. By taking F as common, we can write it down as F multiplied by OA plus OB. What is OA plus OB? If we add OA and OB, it is the perpendicular distance between these two forces. Or we can also represent it by AB. So we will write OA plus AB as A, OB as AB. Or AB is also represented as D. So the formula of couple is equals to F multiplied by D, where F is the force and D is the perpendicular distance between these two forces. So this is the topic torque. Your assignment for today is to learn torque as well as the symmetrical object's center of gravity and also do the written practice of it. I hope that you understand these two topics. Allah Hafiz.